Hey team, Overseer Justin here. Welcome back to War Games News Radio. What you're about to see are the setup episodes for Season 2 of our 2D20 live play campaign. In these episodes, we are playing a game called The Quiet Year by Avery Alder. I suggest you Google and check it out. It's a pretty cool game and you can buy it online. You'll be seeing us go through 4 seasons of a cooperative world-building game. Spring, summer, fall, and winter. And all of these events happen 10 years in the past before our characters arrive in Season 2 proper. So I hope you enjoy, and please follow along. Winter has come to the Kansas territory, gentlemen. The last action that was taken, I believe, was the the missile silo was opened. Our Children of Adam, and Eugene Many Shields cracked that open. So they found a trove of intelligence and, of course, an ICBM inside. What happens with that? Who knows? And also, winter, an unseasonably early winter in mid-October has hit, bringing us right into November. And I want you to imagine, like it's winter proper in Kansas. There's snow in the fields. Like the Hub Lake is starting to freeze over. This is something that we don't see in the Fallout universe too terribly much. A proper winter as we would recognize it here has come. The wheel has turned, and the capital, is going to move up closer to Topeka in between these two lakes to settle for the winter. I'm sure that they will be able to utilize these lakes for ice fishing and hunting and trapping in the wintertime, and also closer to Anthony's Refuge for trading purposes. And you get the feeling that the leaders of Anthony's Refuge and the elders of the Wheel have had a chat, and there's an agreement of some mutual defense and aid. Being so close to these newly reconstructed rail lines.
Yeah.
So winter has come, and I will reiterate that at any point in time, any one of us can pull the Frost Shepherd's card, the King of Winter, and that immediately ends the game. That right there and then it's over. So, you don't get to finish your turn. You don't get to do anything. It's
okay.
You pull it, you're done.
Ultimate finality.
Finality. I've reset the world clock to 8. If we make it past to 8 weeks, a world event will happen.
Right.
And we will see. Okay. Who is up first at the top of the order? I believe it is Grant. Grant pulled first. So go ahead and pull our first card of winter.
Ooh, I'm nervous. Winter cards. Here we go. Also, as an aside, I want to say this has been a fun project to see Kansas up close. It's fairly similar to many of our home provinces here, and
it's remarkably similar. Yeah,
there's a lot going on down there. All right, I'm flipping and I'm reading. Now is the time to conserve energy and resources. A project fail, but gain an abundance. Or, now is the time for hurried labor and final efforts. A project finishes early, but gain a scarcity.
Wow.
Okay, well, that's interesting. I don't really want that project to fail, because that's the conveyor belt for the gold, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. You know what? Let's make it finished early, but let's gain a scarcity. Overseer, can you remind us? I have it in my notes here. I think as far as we have crude oil, electricity, water, gold, geckos, rad stags, and rad bisons. By now, the rad bisons, I think, are gone.
Rad bisons are gone. Rad stag meat you have an abundance of.
Yeah.
Still. Yes, you have crude oil, electricity, water, and gold ore.
Yeah. Well,
It's
you know what?
time, so geckos and mirelurks are in torpor.
So I mean, I would say probably the geckos are disappearing because they're like pretty cold blooded and it's cold AF. So I'm thinking that because of this cold war in that was so bad it pushed the Legion out, that these cold blooded lizards also got pushed out by the same cold. It's not that the gold ore has anything to do with the geckos, but it's like just the time of year, the unseasonably cold air. I don't know. I'm fishing here a little, but what do you think?
I will say that
They could be seasonal, right? Like we get this
Seasonal
influx
geckos.
of them in the
yeah. I
spring.
will say that in combination of this, the ice storm, the early cold snap, and the coyotes hunting them, that
Yeah.
we've gained a scarcity of gecko and
All right.
gecko-related material.
I'm thinking of starting some kind of a project where the people of the land, and like really looking for input from the overseer here, but the people of the land this time of year start a big, like, what materials do we, like an inventory of their foodstuffs for the winter. Does that sound like something they might do?
For sure. To what end? What will this bring them?
Mm-hmm.
Just to take stock and also to know if they're short on anything, then they can start trading for it now.
Okay, yeah, I like that. I'll give that. There's let's say that it, like a rudimentary, not rudimentary, like a trade agreement between the homesteaders and the people of the land at the capital of the wheel. Yeah, let's say that there's like a trading post, and like you can, they're kind of inventorying to see what they need, what they can get rid of, and vice versa. So
yeah, like a beginning of winter inventory. Lets them all know what they're asking for trade, because they can't Amazon Prime anything. It takes a while to find the stuff you want. So
yeah, they're finding out what they've got lots of that they can give to
totally,
the homesteaders in exchange for what they might be lacking.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So why don't you go ahead and draw that project?
Ooh, that's going to be an interesting little.
Yeah.
Wonder what that's going to look like. Let's make it a tiny little pen. You know what? I'm just going to do a little question mark there. It's like, what's up?
What do we have? And how long do you think this inventorying is going to take?
They also just moved. So let's say 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
And also because they're doing some trading and collecting stuff they can trade. So I don't know, 3 weeks feels like a number.
Sure. I've ticked down the world clock and the other projects.
I believe it's Raj first.
That's right. You better recognize. Here we go.
What do we got?
Here we go. Big money. An infected outsider arrives seeking amnesty. They have some much needed resources with them. Choose one. Welcome them into the community. Remove a scarcity, but also introduce an infection into the community. Bar them from entry. What scarcity could they have addressed? How does this need become more dire this week?
Wow.
I don't like the whole infection aspect of letting this person in.
Sure.
I feel like we would be, we as in the collective peoples of this land might be selective about who they let in this time of year, winter. Like some dude shows up off the street, coughing his guts up, like
I'll add some flavor to that. Actually, it's a Legion straggler. Who has rolled in and is coughing and asking for amnesty.
Are they rolling into which city now? Because we've got some like
Raj, which community do they approach?
He made it all the way up to the north. He's going to the wheel, but he was barred from entry.
Okay, you have a scarcity of razor grain, scrap metal, geckos, rad bison, and that is it right now. So what scarcity
about razor grain is a scarcity because we wanted to stockpile a bunch of that. Their storehouse is completely empty of razor grain. So they've milled their last bushel, or I don't know how you measure a quantity of razor
There's no more razor grain crackers to go around.
No more razor grain flour.
there's not a dry mouth in the house. No.
Let's say
So-
there is a concern that arises. What is it called when you rabbit fever, when you only eat protein?
Only eat some kind of protein and like
Yeah.
are missing amino acids. Yeah.
Yeah, so like without the razor grain, and like everyone kind of knows this, they've been through lean years before, that if they rely entirely on like the jerky and sort of like the fancy lad snack cakes and stuff, that
It's
they
gonna
run
get
the risk
gross.
of, they run the risk of
Getting fucking gout or some shit.
yeah, rabbit fever. Okay. So that is actually I'm going to add an abundance of
An abundance of
let's say
sickness.
actually it's anxiety. There's an abundance of anxiety growing.
Ooh, that's
How
amorphous.
dare you?
Okay. Raj, what would you like to do? Would you like to start a project, discover something new, or
I want to start a project at the wheel to
Okay.
address the fact that our storehouses have just run dry. I want to upgrade and beef up these storehouses. And by that, I mean find a cool cave in these hills that I imagine that we're in. So they've sent out a scouting party, engineering team, what have you, to look for a good place to store their food because they can't be hauling off down to the cold mines in the middle of winter. So they need something close to home. So that's going to take 4 weeks.
sure?
Okay.
Why don't you draw your Kansas fridge project,
Kansas.
which is my new favorite band.
New indie band name, yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
gonna draw like a square, rectangle
There you go.
refrigerator with a little handle. There you
So
go.
then this gets literally and figuratively dicey now because like any project date we set could suddenly get fucking kiboshed.
Yeah,
Oh,
100%. Okay, the gold conveyor completes that. Raj, that was your project?
it was. It harnesses mechanical energy from a moving stream nearby, and so
Sure.
like they rigged it up so like these wooden platforms just kind of rotate on a sort of conveyor type of dealy. So it's all like automated. They just basically like you switch it into on mode and put the thing in the water, and it moves the conveyor belt, and it lifts it from right down where it's refined and poured into those like ingot molds,
Sure.
and then piles of them go on this like wooden platform, and it goes up.
I love that we have an underground gold smeltery
Hell yeah!
right
Hell
where
yeah,
it's
we do.
mined.
Hey man, it's
Right
the
there.
freshest.
You
It's the
don't,
freshest
you
you get.
don't need ventilation for
It's
smelting.
fucking Skyrim rules. All you need is just like the little like
Skyrim
thing, and you
rules.
can just do it all there. You're good to go.
It is a good reverence pull. I counted down the world clock.
Okay, here we go. Huh!
Let's see.
The time has come to consolidate your efforts and your borders. Projects located outside the settlement fail, and all remaining projects are reduced by 2 this week. Or someone finds a curious opportunity on the edge of the map. Start a project related to this discovery.
Okay.
Huh.
So both of these projects exist inside the wheel, so you could complete or count them down,
Right.
or create a new project somewhere on the edge of the map.
Both of
Discovery.
those vaults are at the edge of the map.
That's kind of what I was
Yeah.
thinking. The vault dwellers who escaped from the locos are now, I imagine, they made it to Anthony's refuge and are now sort of operating as part of this society. I think the discovery by the homesteaders of this new vault, which is sealed, is they see this as an opportunity, after sort of the tragedy that befell them, opening to the outside world for the first time and then getting hoodwinked and thrown on this train. And not all of them, I don't think, escaped when they made their train escape. So they might see this as an opportunity to reconnect with sort of their people. There's some who believe that maybe if they can open this vault, maybe they can go there. Maybe they can make a new vault dweller type community. So I think their project is to not just travel there, but to try to communicate with the people inside. But I think it's more difficult than your average vault to get into this bad boy. I think it would probably take 3 weeks for them to get there and then try to crack it open.
Okay, I'll
4
be
weeks.
a benevolent overseer and give you 3.
I'll give you 4 weeks too.
Okay, let's go with 4 weeks.
Okay.
4 weeks seems a little bit. This seems to be a hefty project, just because of the travel time alone across.
Yeah,
and it's winter.
And it's winter.
time.
I'm tempted to discover something new on the map, but I think that this makes the most sense for this weird vault dwelling faction that I have in my head now. And that's what they do. But I have another action that I can take too.
Yes, you can start a project, start a discussion, or discover something new.
Discover something new.
Okay, what do you discover?
I discover. Oh, okay. You know what? While looking for a new place to hide this food or a winter storage sort of solution, the sort of spelunkers that are looking for these caves and whatnot, and different mountainy outpasses, they find an entrance to almost like a honeycomb, like a subterranean network of tunnels.
I hate this.
Yeah. That they've never seen anything quite like this. They're not sure what formed these, whether it's natural or what the situation is, but they seem to go on indefinitely.
Okay, where are these?
Up near where they're screwing around looking for these caves. I think it was like a sinkhole. Oh, I was supposed to say the pit, but that's already a thing. I think it's just the cave. I don't think it needs a fancier name than that. It's just
cave.
It's
The
just
cave.
It's just the cave. And it's as spooky and what the fuck as you can imagine. And
the winter wind whistles through it and makes weird noises.
Totally. And it wasn't there this time last year.
Oh, that sucks. I hate that.
Yeah.
Okay, it is my pull. Okay, let's see what we got. What is winter like in this area? How do the community members react to the weather? Winter is harsh on the prairies. The wind blows. It's fucking cold. There has been an unusual amount of early snow. Some of the reclaimers think it's due to the Hub Lake. Much more water in the area means much more water in the atmosphere, means much more snow. And I think that most people in both the Wheel and and Anthony's Refuge use this time to huddle together. Family domiciles sort of get combined to conserve resources and heat. I think, like we said, that the Wheel is mostly temporary structures and movable structures. So I think a lot of the family units and the people who live together live in sort of like yurts, sort of, and like semi-permanent wood structures. So I think that there's a lot of condensing and people living closer together. Not a lot of metal in the Wheel either. Not a lot of scrap metal buildings. They don't really find a use for it. So I think there's a greater sense of community when they're all living in closer proximity to one another. But also that will lend itself to fucking cabin fever and annoyances. I think arguments break out a little easier now that people are hungry, and tempers can flare a little bit more. The question mark completes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was yours, Grant?
Yeah. So they've, in their coming together, they've figured out what goods they have, what goods they can part with and sell, what they need.
Okay. And how does this affect trade relations with the homesteaders?
I would say it really helps to foster trade. But I won't phrase it in the form of starting a project. I'll wait till my turn.
All right. Yes. And now I get to discover something, start a discussion, or start a project. I think they're going to discover something.
Cool.
The coyotes are still operating in the territory. However, much fewer of them during the winter months. However, one of the coyotes out near Hayes, Kansas, on his way back to winter in the wheel, discovers a smaller, on the smaller side, warehouse of Wilson's Automatoys. He finds a Wilson's Automatoys prototype warehouse
Okay.
outside of Hayes. I'm going to just kind of draw it as a squat building here.
Curious. Curious indeed.
Yeah, so that's what they find on their way back. They don't go in and search it too much, just kind of make note of it. And that is my turn. It is now Grant.
Please don't be the crazy card. Winter is harsh and desperation gives rise to fear-mongering. Choose one. Spend the week calming the masses and dispelling the violent sentiments. The week ends immediately. Or declare war on someone or something. This counts as starting a project.
Wow.
You know, I think that the locos were not prepared. They spent all their resources farting about getting their trains going. They heard rumors that there was a bunch of razor grain, but they couldn't find it. So they accused the homesteaders of stealing their razor grain. And they start a war with the homesteaders.
Wow.
So as a project, let's say that's I don't know, 6 weeks. Winter wars don't go by very fast.
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you draw me the Loco Winter War?
Yeah, the Loco Winter War.
The Siege of Anthony's Refuge.
War.
How do you draw a siege?
Yeah, draw like a sword or like an arrow or some
Oh
bullet.
yeah, sword. Ew, this is a sword.
There you go.
Okay.
Nice.
Love it.
And then, so that's the card.
That's the card.
Yeah.
A discussion.
Raiders gonna raid.
Raiders
A
gonna raid.
discussion. Anthony's Refuge. Someone from the leader of Anthony's Refuge is John Hoyt.
John. Sorry, did you say John?
Voight.
No, Hoyt.
John Hoyt.
So John Hoyt from Anthony's Refuge approaches the people of the land and begins a discussion. People of the land, please assist us in this war. We stand not much chance fighting the locos, but with your help, we could be victorious.
One of the homesteaders will pipe up. I think we should fortify our capital and starve these idiots out. They won't last the winter.
The people of the land will come to the table and say, why not both? You're fairly defended already, and we'll add ours to yours. And we'll also take the fight to them.
Wow.
Many shields will stand up and say to the Homes Guard, are you just going to let the weather do all your fighting for you? And that's the end of the statement.
Harsh but fair.
As a little bit of a goad. Because the
mean,
weather drove out the Legion.
I advocated for the Homes Guard to go kill the Legion like 8 different times before just a little bit of cold did it first.
A little bit of cold. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
I've got our next card here.
Sure.
Someone goes missing. They're alone in winter elements. Choose one. The community organizes constant search parties, and eventually the person is found. Project dice are not reduced this week. Or no one ever hears from that person again.
Wow.
What do you do?
Where is the Skald?
I think the Scald is with the locos right now, preparing for war. Yeah, against the homesteaders.
Yeah, because she headed back after
turned
getting routed by the Legion. Yeah.
The Scald decides to go on an ill-advised winter scouting trip of some sort.
Oh, those fucking scouting missions.
And is never heard from again.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
Sorry to have disappeared the Scald, but them's the breaks, my friend.
I mean, I kind of like that though, but like maybe she becomes like almost like an urban legend, or like what's the Baba Yaga or whatever.
Oh yeah,
like
every time you hear a wolf howl, it's the Scald.
You better clean your room or the Scald will get you. Like,
the locals tell that to each other like in the years to come. Like, yeah, absolutely. Like she's the boogeyman or something. Don't go in the dark alone. The Scald will go.
I was thinking more from like the homesteaders.
Oh yeah, like everybody. The Scald goes missing. She was kind of like a warlord, a thane in the area. Yeah. So like her going missing and not being found dead, yeah, she could be anywhere, man.
Yeah. She could be anyone. She could
crazy badass.
In the eyes of every boy. And
I will update that in the character sheet. But I want it to be known that the Scald has just never been heard of again.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
It's your
they didn't find the body.
It's your Marvel Cinematic Universe. People can die or not die whenever you want.
Yeah, they were dead, but not anymore. Sentient android, or you're in another universe. Shut up.
It's a multiverse Scald. It's fine.
I'm gonna discover something new as my action. There was a couple stragglers from the Children of Adam that were hanging out at the old nuclear silo, and they refused to leave for the winter to go somewhere that was warmer, more secure, or whatever. But they were kind of messing around the silo, and they were able to get some sort of like a display working, and it lit up the sites of 4 other silos across land.
Oh jeez.
So I'm gonna draw 4 more silos on the
Jesus.
Fuck yeah.
All right.
Is that too many silos? Was it too?
No. I will give you this. That they get the locations.
Yes.
4 silos.
Yeah. For sure. And only on that screen. It's not like there's a printer where they can they got it.
And I will also curtail it to this is only known to the Children of Adam who were there.
Yeah,
they don't share this with land or
no. This is a Children of Adam only thing.
Like you got to reach a certain rank to even know.
Yeah, this is the super duper secret. Epsilon Delta fucking level.
Red level midnight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boom.
This is their religious secret. Like this is their fucking Ark of the Covenant.
My rockets keep getting wider and wider.
Ladies love a wide rocket.
Well,
gross. Or so I've heard.
This one extra thin now.
Yeah, it's gonna be the thinnest fucking. Nope.
No,
I fucked up.
Still chunky.
All right.
So
there's 4 more nukes on the map.
Like weird fat penguins.
I love my weird fat penguins.
They're great.
Can we turn that phrase into merch?
Weird fat penguins.
Weird fat penguins.
I have counted down all the clocks.
Cool.
And so I believe it rotates through to you, good
To
Reverend.
me, yes. All right, let's take it here. Things are getting fucking spicy. Someone comes up with an ingenious solution to a big problem, and as a result, a project finishes early. What was their idea? Or someone comes up with a plan to ensure safety and comfort during the coldest months. Start a project early.
Nice.
Okay. Someone comes up with an ingenious solution to a big problem, and as a result, a project finishes early. What was their idea? I think that during the Winter War, the locos have been using what was that fucking holy depressing name for the fucking train came up with? The Black Despair.
Yeah, the Black Despair.
Okay, well, that's the worst name for anything ever. But second of all, they've been using that as like a mobile weapons platform. they've got like some pretty big guns like mounted on top of it, maybe some missile launchers or some miniguns and shit, and they're like enfilaged, like sieging or trying to on Anthony's refuge, and they're like moving it up and down the rail lines, fucking Nazi railgun cannon style. And the Homes Guard and the Coyotes put their differences aside and have a military meeting of the minds and come up with the plan. And it's Many Shields, actually, who comes up with this one. Uses the Coyotes as a distraction. So to pull the Black Despair off the main lines, and the Homes Guard go in with their fucking excavator style power armor. And the Little John.
Little John there?
Of course. Yeah.
Of course.
And they pull up the rail lines, or a good chunk of them, that connect back to Lincoln.
Okay, so which side is the Black Despair on then?
So they pull it, the Coyotes distract and pull it down to like Junction City, Topeka area, like down here. And while they're down there fighting, the Homes Guard pull up as much track as they can, just bare fucking fisting it, pulling these rail lines up with the power armor.
Okay.
And pull up.
Ooh, I like that.
And basically strand the Black Despair and much of the Locos.
Strand them in the south.
In Kansas, and cut them off from the home crew in Lincoln. They can't keep up the assault anymore, and I think they might be looking south.
It ends the Winter War in a sense, but I'm gonna.
Oh, they're still around, but like
I'm gonna say the Black Despair and the Locos that were on it in this sort of war boy raiding party.
Oh yeah,
think that maybe Lincoln. It's not looking so good for Lincoln anyway. So
yeah, I think this is kind of like it ends their current run as like a big time like warring faction, and reverts them to kind of like raiding sort of forward. Like they're constantly building their own lines to new places to fuck up. More of like the Reavers in Firefly. Yeah. Whereas before they were maybe operating more like the Gunners or something.
Okay.
That's just my 2 cents.
I kind of like it. Let's say they're getting more and more desperate.
May I dovetail in slightly? In this routing of the train line, might some of the Locos have surrendered and attempted to join Anthony's refuge? They would probably be more sympathetic than most people.
I'm not gonna nail that down too hard, but they would be the best bet out of anybody.
I'm sure the people of the land wouldn't take a single prisoner. I would guess, but I don't know.
Maybe not at this stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll leave that a bit ambiguous.
Okay.
But that is just that thing. So, and I get to
start a project.
Start a project.
Discover something new.
The discovery of the extra nukes by the Children of Adam. I think they might see this as a sign that their pilgrimage was sound. And they start a settlement, I think, of their own. They want to build a bit of a infrastructure around the missile prime.
Rebuilding Sharon Springs.
Okay.
Sharon Springs. Yeah. And I think I don't think it's anything fancy. I mean, the Children of Adam like literally wear like scraps and rags and like eat radioactive goop. So I think they just start to sort of lay down some roots.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make you like if they're not building anything fancy. Yeah.
I think like we kind of decided before that they were just sort of like living at the whim of, or like staying here at the whim of the people of the land. I think, you know, they decide to hunker down rather than build a settlement. They decide to just settle inside.
You're reading my mail. I was going to say instead of a settlement outside, they're going to be much more insular and like they're going to be building their sort of home base inside
Sort of
the sheriff's.
Like laying claim.
You know what? The children of Adam are stoked. They're warm. They're close to a holy relic.
Totally.
The lights are on. Like things are good for the children of Adam right now.
They're glowing.
They're glowing.
Positively glowing.
I'll say two weeks then for them to sort of nail down everything that's to be nailed down.
Let's finish Raj's project first. Your Kansas fridge project. How does this resolve?
T makes a very, very great discovery. Finds some sort of a cave rocky formation. It's like deep. It's cold.
I mean, there's a big old hole right there.
It's a big old hole right there. There's no death claws that they can hear in the background, like ominously. It's like seems like a very secure place to store their food.
And the project for the Vault Dwellers completes. Are they able to make contact with the Vault Dwellers of Vault 105?
Yes. The vault opens and it is full
bees
of vault residents who've been ghoulified.
Ooh. That was the experiment at 105.
Sure. I'll let you decide experiment yada yada yada, but the doors do open and there is what was thought going to be a momentous occasion is like a scene out of 28 Days Later. Or maybe they're all a bunch of happy ghouls.
Yeah, for good or bad right now, no one really hears from the Vault Dwellers after that.
Okay.
Cool. I like that. They open it up and all ghouls. All right, I'm going to pull the card. We're getting so deep in this deck right now.
It's pretty
so deep in it.
Touchy. What do we got?
A headstrong community member takes charge of the community's work efforts. A project fails and then a different project finishes early. Or a headstrong community member tries to take control of the community. How are they prevented from doing this? Due to the conflict, project dice are not reduced this week. Okay, there's really only one project on the go right now. No, actually, a headstrong community member takes charge of the community's work efforts. So it's going to be the children of Adam. And a very strong, charismatic confessor gathers the support of all of the children of Adam to force out the old leaders. And she names herself High Confessor Gray, Gray. Now, for you science nerds at home, gray is the unit of measurement to indicate how irradiated tissue is. So High Confessor Gray takes control of the settlement building. And instead of a settlement building, she is going to decree that the High Atomic Church must be built around this incredibly valuable religious artifact. So 6 turns to complete the Atomica Basilica.
What?
Yeah, and like when I say around this ICBM, I mean around this ICBM.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like she wants to create a fucking religious temple from the ICBM.
I love it.
That's a 6-week project, so there's only 5 cards left in the deck, so that'll never finish. I am I am counting down the world clock. So that brings it to 0. The clouds gather over the Colorado mountains far to the west. They are dark, heavy, and ominous. They are both black, but what is more concerning for everyone who can see them, maybe not so much the children of Adam, the lightning coming from them is brilliant green.
Oh, snap.
Nice.
These dark storm clouds roll over Kansas, dropping an immense amount of snow. And this snow, for all of the vault dwellers who may be out there still with their Pip-Boys on, is making their Pip-Boys scream with Geiger counters.
Rad snow.
The Geiger counter is going off. The rads are through the roof. Due to this, radiation sickness is running rampant in the populations of all of the healthy people in Kansas. So,
wow.
Locos, people of the land, homesteaders, anybody out there and above ground is going to become pretty sick pretty quick. And also, there's the snow.
Don't like that.
That sucks.
Yeah. I didn't think that we would get to that one, and it's the worst one, obviously, because it's in winter. But
yeah,
there we go. I am going to start a project. And that project is going to be for the people of the land. They're going to get underground as quickly as possible.
Wow.
So I'm going to say that's a 2-week move. They're used to moving.
Where do they go? Do they go to the giant hole in the ground?
I'm thinking they might have to go to the cave to shelter for the winter.
My giant cave came in handy.
I think that's the only logical choice. They've got to move quick, and it's close, so they're going to have to risk it. That being said, the Homes Guard, who are in power armor, are working around the clock with no sleep. They're running on stims to get everyone and everything that they can safely down into the cave.
Fuck! What a twist!
Good man, Grant. It goes back to you.
Whew. Things getting spicy up in here.
Spicy. Flip
What do
it.
you got?
The Frost Shepherds
The Frost Shepherds arrive.
Cometh.
They sure do.
The game is over. So this is where our game, The Quiet Year, ends.
Yeah.
And we are going to pick up with the new season, A Few Neutrons More, 10 years in the future from this event.
Wow.
So the last major event was this epic rad storm snowfall that blanketed the land.
Yeah.
Green lightning. Green.
I don't like green lightning.
I don't like it.
The people of the land desperately trying to clamor underground to shelter for the winter. Homesteaders perhaps maybe go with them. Who knows? The children of Adam have recently elevated a new leader, High Confessor Gray, and she has started the Atomica Basilica.
And she's probably pretty stoked about all this rad snow that
She
just
is
blew in.
so stoked on this massive. They found the missiles, and a giant rad storm has come. She thinks this is a blessing from God.
That's
Adam
a
be
blessing you can get.
Grant, how do you feel about where the game ended?
Somehow I knew it was going to be on my turn. I just harbinger of death and all. It's funny. I knew it was coming, but somehow I did not see that coming at the same time.
Right? Like it's so interesting. Like the sort of the free forming flowing of it, and like sort of the finality to each sort of decision, especially using it as a primer for something else, right? Then gives, we've now all have some agency in this world, and takes a little bit of that, DM is God vibe away for just a hot minute. And, lets us do some stuff before then pushing, smash cutting to, a new scenario where then you get to then use this and let that inform,
Yeah, you guys went to some buck wild places. Like, you got some shit on this map that, like, first off, when I started writing the season, I came into the Quiet Year pretty bare bones. There are a few factions, obviously, off the top that I wanted and blah, blah, blah. Children of Adam, nowhere in my head.
Nope.
Like, Vault Dwellers, not so much, for sure. Fucking Legion came and went. The Locos got to some very weird places.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot that happened and a lot that went on this map that I just couldn't have possibly seen coming.
The Enclave base.
Yeah, which again is still like
yeah.
a pretty big question mark, and like I really like the question marks that have been left so far, like the Vault Dwellers and Vault 105. What the fuck happened there? The
Scald,
the church, the like, and leaving off on like everybody like trudging down into this like, a civilization of several 100 at least, but maybe like, a couple thousand people just descending underground into this mystery cave because where the fuck else do we go? Like, I didn't
plan that to come down that way. That was just my world event, and I had no idea where we would have ended up if that had happened. Like, the world is fucking ending. We thought things were okay. It hasn't been a good year. Things went a lot worse for the people of the land in this Quiet Year than I thought that they would.
Pretty much like consistently and exclusively went poorly. It's interesting. Yeah, definitely not necessarily sort of the shiny happy people that I kind of pictured.
Raj, what was your favorite moment of the Quiet Year, if you have one off the top of your head?
I don't know if there was a favorite moment, but I just liked the whole overall experience. I like how we progressed through seasons. I love how, like, cards or natural disasters or events kind of influenced how the story went, and like the cold defeated the Legion and solved our Legion problem. Like, wow, like I thought we were writing ourselves into a corner, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, actually no, it's not a problem anymore. So,
yeah, exactly.
Surprises in there. It was great. Cool. Despite our own best efforts to kill ourselves,
somehow the game completed.
Do you guys want to look at what the other cards are? Like,
okay,
just out of shits and giggles. Yeah, let's see the first one here. Winter elements destroy a food source if this was your only food source at a scarcity, or winter elements leave everyone cold, tired, and miserable. Project dice are not reduced this week. So seems to be a pretty good a theme going on here of your dice not cycling down and scarcities. You see a good omen. What is it? Well, never mind. There's a little fancy.
They were overdue.
Yeah, there you go.
They were overdue.
All the animals and young children are crying and won't stop. Hold a discussion about this. Well, stop telling them about the Scald. In addition to your regular action for this week, or a great atrocity is revealed. Oh, I am actually so glad we didn't get to that one.
Yeah, me too.
Great atrocity.
A great atrocity.
I hope that would have been my card.
Yeah, it probably would have.
And in preparation for the coming year, the community begins a huge undertaking. Start a project that will take at least 5 weeks to complete.
That one wouldn't have been able to
as the last card.
Yeah, as the last card.
Wow.
I mean, we did kind of have that. I mean, the Atomica Basilica.
Totally.
It was a 6-week project out of the gate. So we'll see what happens to that in the future.
Yeah. I guess we'll see what happens to all of this in the future.
Good Brand, what is a takeaway for you from the Quiet Year?
There's a line in the PDF here, or source pamphlet, whatever you're going to call it, that says that communications in a community are messy and inconclusive. And I think that's 100% true. It was fascinating how so many different projects would get started and then end up differently, even than the person who initiated the project speaking on behalf as a force of nature of the community. Almost like half of what we tried to do didn't turn out. the way we thought it was going to. And then random stuff would happen that none of us could have foreseen. And like the four of us could have sat and tried to just brainstorm world build, and it would have been a different kind of process, and it would have been fun. You would have come up with something. We would have, but it wouldn't have been quite so like all of a sudden surprise left turn. Now we're going this way. Like,
yeah.
So really interesting. I think that you could apply this to almost any kind of world building scenario, and it would be a hell of a lot of fun. I'm sort of hoping that you are like, hey, do you guys want to do like another round of this for the following year? I'm not proposing necessarily we do this, but we could easily just keep doing this, and I would find that just as fun as the first round here, and it was super fun.
Yeah, this was definitely an exercise in going with the flow for me.
Yeah.
Not that that's kind of a hard thing for me to do as a storyteller, like improv, whatever. Yes, and
Sure.
But I definitely have some headcanon that just got fucking rocketed into the sun. Where I was like, there was a couple moments where I was definitely like, oh man, well, I'm going to shut this down. And then like having the conversation in my own head of being like, no, you wanted to play this game. Like, let it fucking happen. Go.
Card played, right?
Yeah. There was a little bit of like an internal struggle of like, stop being so precious with this. Like you wanted to play with it. Like
totally
take it out of the box, get it dirty. Let's go.
Which is a good exercise, I think, as you know, as both as players and DMs. It's because hey, that's the way it happens in game too, right? But
we're gonna be telling a story without a net here. That being said, by the time this airs for everyone, we should be pretty close to starting live play. So thank you everyone who has watched all of these setup episodes. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope that you found them interesting for sort of the depth of the world that we are trying to create here in season 2. And also, I thought it was really cool for all of us to be able to, if you've watched at home, you've been part of this world building, lore building exercise. So that when we get going, it's not just me being, overseer and lo, did it, blah, blah, blah for 2.5 hours. Like, you know the world now. You know exactly as much at this point as any of the players do. So I really enjoyed this. I thought this was really cool. And I hope that it's adopted by our community. And you guys enjoyed it too.
Thank you for watching this final installment of A Few Neutrons More The Quiet Year, and we'll be back with the start of Season 2 on Sunday, October 2nd. So stay tuned because, as always, WGNR will be back.